The animal stood, bogged down and spent, too tired even to take my notice. Delbert's footprints led away up the draw toward a sagebrush-studded ridge. Twice I found places where he'd stopped and tried to scrape the mud off his boots. Plain on the hillside, I saw where he'd fallen and struggled to his feet again. Pulling my six-shooter, I checked its loads and turned old Mildred back around the face of the slope. Not 20 feet from the top of the ridge, looking more like a drowned rat than a desperado, Delbert sat hugging himself and shivering in the wet grass. His feet and legs were caked with mud halfway to his knees. It looked like each foot would weigh 30 pounds or better. Soaked by the downpour, his hat brim drooped down over his face and neck like pie dough. Delbert had no idea I was there until I was upon him. When he seen Mildred's big feet stop in front of him, he jerked his hat off and jumped up. But I had the drop on him, and he knew it. "You're under arrest, partner," I told him. "I'm taking you back to town." Delbert's shoulders slumped. Bloodhound sad, his eyes looked up at me. His lower lip quivered. For a moment I thought he was going to cry. "Oh, thank you, Merlin," he choked. I took the stolen money and a rusty old Star revolver off Delbert. His woebegone Indian pony looked to be plumb tuckered out, so I resolved to leave the animal and fetch it back to town later. Delbert and me then struck out for Dry Creek, holding to the high ground. Of course, I could have stayed in the saddle and made Delbert walk ahead of me, but he looked so pitiful I wound up leading Mildred and walking at his side. It was less boggy on the ridges, but the mud still clung with every step, like oatmeal cooked too long. "Damn, Delbert," I said, "what was you thinking of? It don't hardly seem like $16.42 was worth all this trouble." "Well, hell, Merlin," Delbert sulked. "I never claimed to be no Jesse James." "I know, but if you was going to turn outlaw, it does seem you might have robbed something more profitable than Boogle's till." "Like what?" "Well, like the bank, maybe. That's where the money is." Delbert raised up his floppy hat brim and fixed me with a scornful stare. "The bank? Can you see me trying to hold up the damn bank? That snotty little bank teller would have laughed till he peed himself. No, I just needed some traveling money to get shut of Boogle's meanness and go on to a new job." I almost felt sorry for him, but I figured he should have known better. "Well," I said, "you know what they say. Crime don't pay." Delbert stuck his hands in his pockets and stared at the soggy ground. "It sure don't pay much," he agreed. Glenn was waiting under the board awning in front of the marshal's office when I brought Delbert in. Carefully, Glenn looked the kid up and down, from his muddy boots to his soggy hat. Then he slowly shook his head from side to side as if he was seeing some rare specimen in a zoo.